Jesus walked on water. Mark 6. Everybody had a hearty meal with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Jesus told his disciples to go on ahead of him. He also told the people, "Go back home." Then Jesus went up a mountain to pray. The disciples got into a boat. They were going over to Bethsaida. They couldn't believe Jesus fed over 5,000 people with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Night came. The wind swooshed. The waves sloshed. The disciples rowed the boat with all their strength. The waves became stronger. The disciples couldn't row the boat. They became very weak. Suddenly, they stopped rowing. "Look at that!" The disciples were afraid. "Someone is walking on the water toward us." The disciples shouted, "It's a ghost!" "It is I. Don't be afraid," the man on the water said. "Jesus!" shouted the disciples. When Jesus got in the boat, the wind calmed down. The disciples were even more surprised. They were relieved because Jesus was with them. One disciple said, "How can Jesus walk on the water? How can Jesus make the wind calm?" "It's because he is the Son of God," said another disciple. Jesus, the Son of God. Matthew 17. Jesus took his disciples to a high mountain. He went up with Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. The disciples talked to one another. "Why are you here?" "I don't know." "Jesus must know." Then Jesus' face began to shine. Jesus' clothes began to shine. The disciples were very afraid. Then Moses and Elijah appeared and talked with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, I like it here. I want to set up 3 tents here, one for Jesus, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." When Peter was saying this, suddenly a shining cloud covered them. "This is my Son, whom I love. Listen to him," God said in the cloud. The disciples were terrified. They fell face down to the ground. When they stood up, there was no one except Jesus. "God told us you are the Son of God," said the disciples. Now the disciples got to know that Jesus was the Son of God.